Right. I had to put in some new shift cables. I replaced these. These are the old ones. I replaced these about half a year ago, and they already failed. What happened was this little bracket right here came apart from this one here. So basically, the rubber wasn't being held down with anything. So I didn't have a black cable. Happened at a pretty shitty time. So we had to push my car out, and I only had the top gears, first, 3, and 5th. No reverse, no second or fourth. But we got home. Regardless, I want to do a review on these because I filmed a bunch, but I never put it together. Let me tell you what you have to do to fit the eBay shift cables. These range anywhere from $30 to $15. These are the new ones. They're $15. These are $30. They're the same exact piece, and there's a lot of problems with them. The main thing, there's two main things. You need a drill to do this. You don't need it if you buy quality ones, but these are not quality ones. What you need is you need a drill, because these here are not the same diameter as the factory ones. So what you'll have to do is pull out this bracket. You won't be able to see it because I didn't take off much to do it this time. There's a bracket down there that the cables shift. They sit in from the factory. You have to pull that out. I think it's a couple 13s or something. You have to take it out, and you'll have to get a grinding bit for a drill or a die grinder, and you'll have to essentially bore them out, because these are actually they're too big. They don't fit in there, so you have to bring those out to be bigger. Because you can try all you want, but you'll only be able to get, I believe, the white one to fit in, and the other one just won't fit. The next thing is you also need that die grinder bit. You might want to do this first. So essentially, the way that these sit in to the shifter, right, is that these right here, these just go right into there. And these are ribbed for her pleasure, but the problem is that these are not ribbed correctly. You can see that this one's been all messed up. I had to get it out after it got stuck halfway in there, and this one it's been more severely hit with the grinder bit on a drill, because you have to do it right, because these ribs are meant to hold it in against the inside of that. But the problem is they're way too big. You can't get them in. I forced them in for so long that I probably nearly caused damage to the shifter. I probably did cause damage to the shifter box. So you shouldn't try and force it in. They just won't go in. You'll just end up breaking something if you really try and force it. In fact, I ended up breaking the tabs off this one. So yeah, when I put it back together, it'll be held with a zip tie. As you can see there, it's broken. Luckily, it's not broken enough that it doesn't work. But yeah, I would definitely not recommend to buy these, just because they're really low quality. The only reason I'm buying another set is because I intend on selling this car, and I didn't want to spend $90. The one that it ended up, so these, after you put them in, they'll feel really, really, really light, but after a bit they'll end up just feeling fine. Not great or anything. It'll just feel like just kind of generic front wheel drive transmission. But after 6 months, well, probably about 6 months, it started to get really hard to get it into reverse. On occasion, it just wouldn't go in. And then, as I said, about a week ago, it just didn't go into reverse. So, yeah, you're going to have to, if you want to buy these, you're going to have to modify them. I believe you can't get them on Rock Auto anymore. Rock Auto has always been kind of bad about shift cables in general, having them in stock. But I found you can get them on AutoZone. You can get the Pioneer ones, which is an actual company. So they should hopefully be fine, but they're like $90. And I think I've seen the GM genuine ones for about $116 or so. Yeah, so I'm guessing these are made for a cobalt, and maybe they have bigger whatever the fucks in them. But this is an ion, so it works as long as you modify it. But if you don't modify it, you won't be able to get into the bracket at all, and you won't be able to get it into the actual shifter itself. So that's just a word of warning. if you want to buy these. I'll link in the description a video on how to do it. It's a guy with a turbo Chevy Cobalt, not an SS. It's one with the F23, same transmission, but he's kind of funny and he's pretty good at the actual review video. He doesn't ramble like I do, so go watch that for a tutorial. It's pretty straightforward. Although I didn't really figure out how to do the whole aligning the shift cables thing, because they don't really seem adjustable to me. They just kind of go into place as long as the transmission's in neutral. So I don't know. Alright, so here's what I'm going to do. I got this power drill here. It doesn't have a battery in it. We got the drill. Essentially, we're just going to go round and around, like how it is on this one here, to the point where there is still some of the ribbing, but there's not much left, right? It still needs to be there. Well, I guess you could do it completely smooth, but it'd probably be better to have it completely done. But it catches on the front and on the ribbing, so it gives you more to work with, the mounting to the car. And another thing I might do later, I don't have any to do it now, but I might go ahead and put just a bunch of JB weld on here, on both of them, just so it doesn't have the chance for this to happen again. Because this is pretty thin shit plastic here, and I do not believe this is ABS, so it could just snap again. Right, so I'll probably put a bunch of JB weld on it later, but I don't have any now, and I need to get this repair done soon. Alright, so here's a old one I did a bit ago, a few years, half a year ago, and here's the one I just did. So yeah, you can see the ribbing is still on there, but it's, you can still feel it with your fingernail, but it's not extreme like it is on this unmodified one, where it looks kind of just like it's threaded, right? So essentially what I ended up doing to make this quicker was I held it with one hand, on the other hand I took this and I went up and down like this. It just goes a lot quicker than trying to go around and around. Alright, I had a bit of a stick up there, but figured it out. So first of all, you need if you're doing this, you're probably gonna need zip ties. I can't get these to latch back on. I don't know if it's these new cables or what it is, but they don't latch on. Secondly, so I trimmed these ones further than I did the other one, so it made them pretty easy to get on. But you want to make sure that this here, it will, if you have it loose, without this zip tie on it, it will pretty much just get sucked into the entire cable will go further down there because it doesn't stop. So you want to essentially set it, with the zip tie to the white plastic part on top of the cable being just at the end. So now it goes into all the gears. Before, it would kind of just stuck in first, third, and fifth, and there was like no neutral or nothing below. It just wouldn't go there. But now we got all the gears. We're set. I'm gonna double up on zip ties, especially on this one here. That's how I had before. It never came loose on me with double zip ties. So yeah, and that's all there is to it. You just got to put the rest of the shit back. I think you can, if you've had them off before, you can get away with not taking off all the bracketry. All I took off was the ECU and the fuse box. I didn't even have to go under the car because I've done everything before. But if it's the first time, you might end up having to go under the car and all that. But I just want to add that don't put in the Chinese shift cables if you don't have to. I only did it because mine were messed up because the previous owner, when he dropped the transmission to do the clutch, I think he didn't disconnect them and the lines got all messed up. So, I don't know, I had them held together with JB weld and the shifting was really not amazing. But, yeah, if you don't have to, don't do it. Or get real ones. If you want if your cables are okay and you want them to be better, get name brand cables. Don't get these Chinese ones. I guess that should be self-evident, but who knows.